Okay, we got the chassis on this 6D512 Zenith. We got it all stripped down and cleaned and refinished. Um, there wasn't a lick of problem with this chassis as far as finish is concerned. This came out that brilliant just with one of these and a little elbow grease and a solution of simple green with water. A little scrub, and she came out really good, and we got a good coat of finish on her. We also took care of the mount for this speaker and got it fastened back up so that it can be mounted again to the chassis like it's supposed to. There was just one other issue that I came across about this radio, and it has to do with this speaker. Sometime in the past, like I said in the last video of this, somebody put in a sand resistor, power resistor, in place of the field coil for this radio, and I'm assuming whoever it was that had it and was repairing it discovered that it was either shorted or open and didn't want to mess with it, which I can't say I really blame them, and just decided to put in a permanent magnet speaker and then substituting this for the missing field coil. Well, upon my checking the information on this radio from the Radio Museum website, it shows that it should be a 5-inch electromagnetic dynamic speaker, which we know that's not the case anymore, and this much of it was done and changed. But whoever got the speaker, this speaker is a 4-inch speaker and not a 5-inch speaker. So it's a bit small for this radio. Now, it will work, because you heard it work whenever we brought it up under test. But this little one here would be like putting a transistor radio speaker on a tube radio chassis and expecting it to sound really good, especially with the tone control on it. There's a high and low setting on it, so either way you'll get a tinny sound out of the smaller speaker. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and rework this into this, and if it does work, we're going to take this mount off of here and mount it onto here and put it on the radio. Just one thing though, that speaker has well, from what I understand, I think these were reconed. I bought them off of eBay some time ago. Trouble is, there's no flex in this cone. It does have a spider in there, but there is no flexation to this coil. So I am going to take one of my replacement cones and put it on this speaker, because it has the ribbing on it around the surround there to allow for flexing. and that should alleviate this. I'm going to have to take this output transformer off of here. I think this was the original one to the radio, and when they replaced that old speaker and field coil, there was no place to mount it on here, and I noticed that it is adhered on either with super glue or epoxy or something. So I'm going to have to remove it from here and put it onto here. But first I'm going to replace that cone. So that takes care of that. And we'll go back to a 5-inch speaker for this radio. Okay, now I do have my chicken scratches to help out and aid in my reassembly of this thing. The only other issues that I see with this radio is I'm going to have to go in here and do a search and destroy on all the bad wiring that is flaking off. You can see here, there's some there's some here, there's some down in there, there's this here that comes off of there. I'm going to have to remove this trimmer assembly and oscillator coil and the loading coil. I'm hoping I don't have to remove the antenna coil. And I'm just going to redo all this wiring in here. Fortunately, there is no wax capacitors. There's only one wax capacitor is right down in there that they didn't get to. They got to everything else whenever, but they decided, well, I'm never going to, and it might be okay until it's not okay. But I'm going to get in there and replace this because I'm going to remove all of this anyway. And all of this is going to come off and out. I've already removed the switch because I had to sleeve. I know you're not going to be able to see very good. I had to sleeve this black wire here that goes to the second eye. It goes to the first IF can, and it was crumbly insulation on that wire, and I didn't want to have to remove the can to replace the wire, so I got and I sleeved it all the way into the can, the IF can, and put it back. So that much of that is done. So I just wanted to give a touch base with everyone, especially the owner, and let him see what's happening to this point. We're going to pull this wafer switch out of here and give it a good thorough cleaning, because these band switches, they're notorious for not making real good contact, and a lot of times I've seen a lot of people that still had issues with their radio and never pulled and cleaned the band switch. And some of them are pretty nasty, and their multi-section band switches are even the worst, man. I mean, they're a nightmare. That's why I do this, so that I can make sure that I don't forget anything. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. We'll see you back on the next video once we get this thing here getting ready to put it back together. So stay tuned, we'll have more.